Hello, it's Heather and Peggy again. So, we wanted to talk about jobs. All right, or my other job, my things that I do shows for because I'll explain. So I am also
Wait. I just want to, you always downplay your skills. She's also Peggy is a graphic designer. She knows how to do web design. She's a great salesman. She really knows marketing. I do love bouncing ideas off of her because I'm also a marketer, but I don't have as many skill sets as she does. I don't do graphic design and web. And so I just wanted everybody, because you always downplay that part of your.
but see, I don't do the analytics. I mean, I can, but I don't enjoy it. I'm not
I love the analytics.
Yeah, see, so like we offset each other really well because yeah, I'm not doing analytics and I'm not like yeah, I'm kind of I'm creative.
I'm more of a generalist. You're the creative person.
Well, I
And
don't
Peggy made our logo, by the way, everybody. Peggy made our logo for
like
Life Unfiltered, and I think it's beautiful. So, but Peggy, yes, go on. Tell them about your other side gig.
okay. So I'm not going to name the company just because if you want to find that out, you can go and find me on other social media outlets and just find me for that. But I will tell you what it is. So I do in-home parties for women over 18. And we talk about women's sexual health and wellness and all the fun bedroom accessories, dildos. And I do that dressed up as a 1950s housewife. So,
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with selling dildos and sex toys.
well, I like the irony of my get up. I love talking to women about a topic that most women are not, we're not brought up to talk about sex or, you know, anything to do with sex. Like, when I grew up, no, you didn't talk about it. I was very uneducated. Uh, I mean, I was pregnant when I was 15 years old.
Were you really?
I was, yeah. I
So
had
nobody taught you about birth control, condoms.
no, well, they did. They said take this pill every day and you won't get pregnant. What they didn't they failed to tell me was that you had to take it at the same time every day. And apparently I'm very fertile. So it was just like, well, if I take it, I take it at 7 o'clock in the morning one day, but I slept in the next day, so I'm gonna take it at probably 11 or 12 in the afternoon. And then
I used to do that though. It's like I always took my birth control pills when I woke up. So if I did sleep in, I would just take it. And I will tell you, I've never been pregnant. So I don't know. I mean, again, that we're similar in age.
yeah.
Maybe you just started taking the birth control and then you got pregnant because it takes a while. Like, I don't even know if I can have kids at this point. Now I have this stick in my arm that I don't know what it's called.
I can't remember.
It's in my wallet, but huh?
It's called Depo.
No. It's a stick.
It's a stick.
I have a physical stick. You can feel it in my arm.
That would be very weird.
And it basically, like, I got this about 6 years ago. My sister told me about it after she had my nephew. She couldn't take birth control because she's breastfeeding.
Okay.
And I'm sure my brother-in-law was like dying for
some whoopee,
some action.
Yeah.
But I was tired of taking the pill, but I was like, I want that. And I go to my gyno and he's like, well, you have really high blood pressure. I wouldn't even recommend birth control at this point anymore, like birth control pills.
Mm-hmm.
And so every 3 years I have to go in, they take the stick out and put a new one in.
Does it hurt?
No, they numb your arm.
No. Okay.
So, yeah, they numb it. And the coolest thing, you don't have your womanly functions.
Oh, see, and that I wish. I'm so
you can get it.
No.
Are you in menopause now?
Well, I'm close to the end, right? Like I'm perimenopausal. I'm like, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass because I never know when my period's coming anymore.
Don't say that word. I hate that word. That's why I say month. I hate it. I hate it.
I have no taboo for words anymore. I can talk. I can say penis, vagina, ovulation. I can say all of those things because those are things that, I mean, we've been told don't talk about it. It's gross. It's, no. I it's good. You should.
You do your bit.
Yeah.
You do your bit. Just do you.
Yeah.
But I used to take my birth control pills though, I would not even take that month off or the week off.
Okay.
I would take it consecutively, and my doctor said it was fine because that's how much I hated having that monthly thing. And I actually lost 5 pounds on this.
Oh, nice.
But I always say to people that still use condoms because you don't want an STD.
Right.
I mean, you're married. I'm single, so it's like different. Like if you got an STD, you're gonna be like,
yeah. Well,
they're cutting off your husband's penis.
We'll be having some serious discussions about that.
Yeah. But for me, I'm always like, when people are like, "Oh, I'm on birth control," I'm like,
yeah, I'm not. I haven't had to. Well, because my husband had a vasectomy after our youngest son. And my
so you can't even have kids then. Like, I mean, well, you can if you went to another man. So if you got knocked up,
I
will have something to talk about.
Yeah. There'd be some serious questions in that regard too. But yeah, so my youngest though is 22. So I've been like, it's been 22.
From 15 to 47.
Yeah.
You have 4 kids and your youngest is 22.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
What did your parents say when you got pregnant? When you were first pregnant, like?
Oh, that was great because my parents were fairly religious, and I was really afraid because I had heard horror stories about parents making their daughters go and have abortions and things like that. And I just personally, and I'm all for I'm pro-choice, but it's your choice, right? But for me, I didn't think I could live with how I would feel after that. And I really didn't want doctors and nurses looking at my hoo-ha because I was 15 years old. So you think I would have thought of that sooner, but I didn't. Anyway, so I was like, I waited until I was 3 months.
You do know that when you gave birth, they were going to look at your hoo-ha.
Yeah, I know, but it was, I don't know.
Okay, just wanted.
Yeah, it was something. Anyway, so I waited till I was 3 months pregnant. So, because in Canada at that time, you couldn't have an abortion after 3 months. After
You think that's the way America was?
Yeah.
And now we have.
Yeah. You guys have a whole world of garbage. Yeah. So I waited, and then I showed up. I called my Oma because I'm Dutch. I called my grandmother, and we call her Oma because I didn't really want. Like I was terrified. So I had my Oma because I wasn't living at home. I moved out when I was 14. Yeah. Yeah. I've had quite an independent life. So, but I did call my Oma and had her come and pick me up. I was living in Kitchener at the time. And I told her while we were in the car, and my Oma is a very proud, very, and she had 4 kids, herself. Well, she had 3 pregnancies, but 4 kids. Anyway, so she turns and I said, I told her that I was pregnant. I figured she would be happy. She says, well, if I were you, I'd get an abortion. That's what she said. And I was like, ugh. So I'm like, and I just turned and I said, well, I'm not you, and I won't be having an abortion. And she goes, well, your parents could make you. And I said, I'm over 3 months along. Nobody can make me. So that was, and she didn't talk to me for the rest of the drive. Dropped me off at my parents' house. And I told my parents, and my dad was like, I'm calling the right to life lady, and she's going to come over here because you can't have an abortion. It's against God. And I'm like, Dad, I can't have an abortion. I'm beyond 3 months. I don't intend on having. He goes, but I need to make sure. So, so I had to sit for 2 hours with the right to life lady. Oh yeah, and then we had to pray about it because that's what. Yeah. So
The minute I started having sex, I told my mom I was having sex with my first love, and told my mom, and she's like, "We're gonna get you on birth control and get you to see a doctor." And I was like 16, which is still young, right? I mean, it's young,
yeah.
but let's get realistic, right? I mean, sex is everywhere.
Yeah, and it was
my first love. We stayed together for a while. I still talk to his family, by the way, and I talk to him still.
Yeah.
But my mom, and I actually joke with her, I'm like, Mom, do you ever regret now putting me on birth control? Because now I'm not going to have kids.
Yeah.
Like my sister has, and her son. She doesn't want any more kids. So she's done with one. And I was just like, and I just joke with her. I'm like, well, do you regret that? Because I could have been knocked up already and had like 50 children. Not like I would ever do that, because I don't ever want to like raise them in a situation that I can't afford. But it's just so funny that you're telling me that, like, because usually I was like, my mom just took me straight to the gyno and was like, and I've never not, when people think like, they're like 41, you've never been married, you never had kids, you never. And I'm like, well, one, I'm not going to get married to somebody I'm not in love with. But two, it's just, it's not, I never thought I'd be 41 without kids. I thought I was going to find the love of my life, get married, and have a child, or adopt, or do something. And
but just not happy. I mean, you don't have to have that life in order to be happy.
You don't. I definitely feel like I would love to have a child, but again, I know I'm getting 41, but I always joke, I just need to find a guy that is a dad, and I can be the stepmom.
Yeah, and you'd be
that would be the perfect situation. But going back to you though, do you ever regret? Like, because again, I am pro-choice. And I actually had one friend who admitted to me that she had 11 abortions.
Ouch. That would be hard.
And I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
because abortion is not birth control.
No.
Right? Like, I think you just said that, right?
Yeah.
And she told me that. I was like, do you not know how to use a condom? Do you not know how to, take birth control pills? And she's like, oh, birth control pills doesn't work for me, blah. And she gives me all these excuses. And again, I am pro-choice. If it is before that 3 months period, if you're not in that position, if you are too young, or if there's anything wrong with baby, whatever it may be. And I say baby because again, it's like a little peanut initially, right?
Yeah.
But she gets 11 abortions. And I'm like, I cannot. And thank God she did it before I knew her, because if she was doing it when I knew her, I would have been like smacking that bitch, because it's not a birth control. You don't get an abortion if you don't know how to have safe sex.
I agree. Flip side to that is that some women, I mean, they're not taught to be like, and I think this is just generally kind of happening in society now. Like, kids aren't being taught to be responsible or accountable.
No, they are. Like, we have sex ed in
our country, but they're not accountable. It's like somebody's going to come in and fix this for you. If you make a mistake, somebody's going to come in and fix it for you. And I think that started like that mentality where everybody wins a prize, and so
you sat on the bench, here's a trophy.
Yeah, like, but this started when we were kids and has just proliferated. It's huge. I mean, like when I was a kid, I wanted to win.
Well, you won on being the youngest to have a baby. No, I'm just joking.
I did win. Hey,
Those younger kids who are having babies, which is even more sadder, but it's usually because of incest or some bullshit like that.
yeah,
Not bullshit. I'm not saying bullshit on that, but
yeah, no, but
sickos.
bad
Sickos.
things happen. No, and like to your, I think this was the question you were going to pose is like, do I ever regret having a child that young? And I don't regret how old I was. I regret, well, I regret who I had him with. So because I was too young to realize that he was a very bad person. And so my oldest son, as a result, has a lot of struggles. And that I feel bad for. Um, I love him. I don't always like him, but I love him. The other three children, so no issues. But wasn't with that idiot that I had.
Is the three children with another dad
Yeah. Yeah.
versus your husband?
No, I've got my oldest, which was with a jerk. And then Rochelle, Allie, and Cameron are my husbands. So
So maybe I think maybe if your son's having issues, maybe it could be because he has a separate father, but maybe it's because maybe the father had issues. Like I always say, like depression and things. It's
he was
not
mentally ill.
it's all like genetic in a way, right?
Yeah.
So maybe he's struggling because like he is the offspring of somebody that you're not with anymore, but the abuse maybe also, and then I don't know. I'm not a psychiatrist or psychologist. I just need to say psychologist.
Yeah.
But
my ex, he was mentally ill. My son is also struggles with mental illness. So yeah, there's a lot. It's layered upon layers of garbage.
well, I suffer from depression too.
Depression and borderline personality disorder, schizophrenia, bipolar, all of that kind of stuff. That's very different than depression. Depression sucks.
No, I have it, so I know.
Yeah,
like, it's something that we'll talk about in another thing, right?
Yeah.
But if your son, that's hard though, and it's one of those things that if you could change that DNA.
Yeah. If I could change that, because I think all in all, having kids young was great. Like, I was young, but I still went to school, finished school. I've probably gotten more education than I would have otherwise. So all of that, I did it with my kids. So
that's awesome. There's a lot of women who's just like, oh, I'm going to take welfare. I saw this one thing about this woman who has like 19 kids and like, I think it's 19
vagina.
Well, and she's actually asking the state to buy her a house. And I saw this on TikTok because I'm addicted to TikTok right now. Mm-hmm. But it's like, if you cannot afford these kids, then you should not be having kids. Sew up your vagina.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Get your man's dick cut off. Tie him up. Do something because you're hurting the kids.
Oh, yeah.
And more than anything else. It's like, if you can't afford a dog, don't get a dog.
Yeah.
And
I think sometimes, so people have a family. I mean, like, I had 4 kids and, it was okay. And we figured it out. We didn't sit on welfare and stuff like that. But I mean, at any point.
You're an independent woman and you're like, let's get this shit done. I got to get a job. Got to do this. Got to do that.
But I mean, at any point we could have been, lose a job, or it was tough. I mean, when my husband was trying to get on full time with the city, it was, he'd get laid off every winter. I had to work my ass off. And he'd get unemployment while he was laid off, and then he'd get hired back. It was like a temp position to get on with full time. But we were broke. I mean, I remember being broke because like he could have taken other jobs, and we would have had more money. But when you do that, I mean, like, he's diabetic and, you got kids, you want good health care. Like, you want to have all your benefits, like glasses, braces. I got 2 kids that had full on mouths full of braces. I mean, that's a lot of money. that's not covered by Canadian healthcare, right?
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, like we still have to pay for braces and glasses and eye doctor appointments and dentist appointments. Our physical health, like, your heart, your knee surgeries, things to do with your bodily parts, I guess. I don't know. That works. Like they pay for that. But your dental, your vision, and all of that stuff. And you can't send your kids to school in Canada because with a mouthful of cavities, because they send dentists into the schools to make sure your children are getting learning how to brush their teeth. Like,
well, I think that's just good parenting though too, like making sure
yeah.
But no, I hear what you're saying. Like for me, I'm like, I don't have insurance right now, and I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I made too much money last year.
Yeah.
And this year, even I'm not working right now. I mean, I have a contract job, whatever coming up, but I still can't afford it because the money I'm making will barely cover my groceries. It's just so insane. And
yeah. Well, and groceries are insane. I mean, my daughter was telling me today, so it's her husband, and her 2-year-old daughter, it costs her $800 a month for groceries. I'm like, that's insanity.
I feel like sometimes like the world's just ending. Like I don't understand what's happening.
Why?
It's like, what the flip is happening? Like I bought my guinea pig hay when I first got her, and it was like $26. Now that hay's $40. And I'm like, let's talk about taking advantage of inflation bullshit.
I'll go out in my field this summer and I'll cut the grass. I'll just take some scissors out and I'll stuff it in an envelope for you and send you.
Hey, I'll send you a box. Stuff it. I just can't have anything brown. The damn guinea pig is a diva. She doesn't want to eat anything that's brown.
Okay. Oh, so the hay isn't for bedding, it's for eating.
She lays in it, she eats in it, she shits in it, she does everything in the hay. Like
she rolls in it.
Yeah, she really does. Like right now she's there just doing her thing. I don't know if I can.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah, so she's doing something. I don't know what she's doing right now, but you see the hay.
Yeah.
So
that's life.
I made her a litter box. And
does she use it?
Yeah, that's where she does most of her business, and that's where her hay is. Guinea pigs are more related to rabbits, by the way, and you can actually potty train them.
No, I did.
Yeah, I got her this thing, and I put her hay and her food and water bottle in there, but yeah, I mean, I'm just like, I feel like even when inflation is done, the companies that we buy from, like Lean Cuisine, they're still going to give us 2 pieces of chicken in a chicken fettuccine. And still charge us the same amount, because then they were like, oh, people will still, I used to pay $2 for Lean Cuisine. Now it's like $4 something or $3.69, something like that. But I get 2 pieces of chicken, like little baby chicken. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Just dice it up?
It's like meal for a Barbie.
Seriously. And I'm like, I don't know if anybody, if the supply chain is ever going to go back to normal. I think they're going to be like, well, people are still buying it.
Well, that's why they call it Lean Cuisine, because you're eating lean.
Well, I don't do Lean Cuisine anymore because I'm tired of getting like 2 little baby pieces of chicken.
Okay, so what do you eat instead?
Well, I've been cooking. I suck at cooking. I would never. I can tolerate my food because I know I suck at it. It's just, I do like healthy choice. If I'm not in the mood to cook, I'll do a healthy choice. And HEB here in Texas, we have this thing called HEB. It's a grocery store.
Okay.
And they have simple meals or simply meals, something like that. And it's fresh ingredients, fresh food. And you can either put it in your microwave. They have ones that you have to put in the oven. It is phenomenal. It's a little bit more pricey than like frozen dinners, but it is fucking amazing.
Do you have HelloFresh where you are?
Yeah, I don't. like the delivery service.
Hmm.
Yeah, I haven't done that because that requires me to cook, and I really hate cooking.
Okay. All right. See, I love cooking, so
I know you do. That's why we're so different.
I know. But sometime I'll do we'll do the podcast from my kitchen and I'll cook something while we're on a podcast. Haha. Yeah, then you can see, you know, all the cooking because I do a lot.
All the cooking.
Yeah. I made my kids a recipe book one year for Christmas.
You made a recipe book.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, why don't you send it to me?
All right. I can do that.
Why are you holding out?
Wow. You're gonna laugh at it. It's
No,
got
I'm not gonna laugh. I mean, if it gives me ideas, like, oh, well, I don't have to buy like 50 million ingredients too. That's another thing about cooking. It's like, oh, you gotta get like this fancy shit here, and you gotta do this here. And I'm like, I just want something I can just cook.
Yeah. It's OneDrive. That's what it's called. I have it in my OneDrive. There it is. I have
Then
to.
we got a topic about your job, but
No, well, it's all good because my job, I mean, my job is just a lot of fun. I will show you some stuff at some point. Um, but it's yeah, it's sexual health and wellness. It's a good one.
I know you keep telling me I need to do things with my sexuals because I'm single.
I mean, single or married or
You
whatever.
gotta get off. You gotta get off. I know. I know. Ain't it actually? I read it. I saw this thing on Good Morning America. I think it was Good Morning America. I don't know. Don't quote me on that one. That said that having orgasms will decrease aging.
It does. It also it let's see, benefits of having sex. Okay. Lower blood pressure, overall feeling of better, like, wellness and happiness. It releases serotonin and dopamine into your system. I mean, it fights depression. Anybody who says that they're depressed should masturbate more. Okay. Flat out, go play with yourself.
Yeah. But like when I use my dildo, I just feel like I really just want a man at this moment.
Yeah, well, that's okay. Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
Just keep doing it.
I do think I bought a big. I got this like years ago. I think it's too big.
Well, they come in all different sizes. And
I know. I need to go. I know. You've sent me some of the things that
other
you sell.
thing about it is that you shouldn't just have one toy. You should probably have three because you can actually get so used to one way of climaxing that it becomes almost impossible for you to enjoy anything else. So that can actually mess up your, when you
That is really true. I don't like certain things, but no, yeah, I can see that.
You're supposed to vary it. So you should have probably three different toys that do different things. So like clitoral, vaginal, and
How do I get off on vaginal?
Well, then maybe you need some additional stimulation.
I think this is going into TMI. TMI.
Yeah, I just sent you a link to the recipe book.
Okay, perfect.
There you go. It's a Word document, so it's nice and easy. But yeah. Oh, and the table, I was really proud of this when I did it. The table of contents, because it's digital, right? You can click on the table anywhere on the table, it'll take you to that recipe. So it's good.
Well, I might have to talk to you about this at another time because I have some ideas with this.
All right. Well, I think we've hit our 30-minute mark here. So I'm going to stop recording. It's wonderful for that everybody, starting to tune into Life Unfiltered with Heather and Peggy. And come back again. We're going to try and do this for a while. Right?
Yeah, definitely.